The spooky background stays. At least for a little bit. At least for a little bit. Honestly, guys, though, I don't know if I like my hair today. But it's already up, and I'm not figuring out another hairstyle, you know? Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to do my November TBR. I'm kind of hyped because I was figuring out whether I wanted to keep like TBRs and wrap-ups on a monthly basis on my channel, and I've decided that TBRs and wrap-ups are going to officially come back, at least for a little. We're gonna do a test run. You guys always love TBRs and wrap-ups, and you know, they're pretty fun to make. I have 9 books to talk with you guys about today that are gonna be on my TBR for November. I was still very much in the mood for spooky, thrillery, those kinds of vibes books. So you're gonna notice that a lot of these books have those kinds of themes to them, whether they're a little bit more dark or just mysterious. It's an eclectic group, but I'm very, very excited about this. I feel like this month, I mean, let's get into it. Let's get into it. The first few books that I want to talk with you guys about is Monstrous, volumes 1, 2, 3, and if I end up getting it 4. I am actually doing a reread of the series, and I'm buddy reading it with Jessie from Bow Ties and Books. They are also doing a reread, and they asked me a month ago if I would want to do a reread with them, and I was like, heck yeah. I think I've only read the first 2, so I'm totally down to read the 3rd one and the 4th one. I might have... Why do I keep grabbing the wrong ones? I'm pretty sure I haven't read the 3rd one. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Either way, I'm really excited about this. They've already started their reread and they were texting me, and just the things that they've noticed in the story are things that I don't notice normally. So, I mean, I'm definitely seeing the value in buddy reading. If you didn't know, Monstrous is actually my favorite graphic novel series. I mean, from the art to the story, it really cannot be beat in my opinion. But it takes place in another version of 1900s Asia, and this Asia is ruled by women, and the world looks like an Art Deco steampunk dream. But all of this beautiful imagery is kind of torn apart because the world is currently in a very tragic war between the gods and those with like more godly abilities and the humans, the regular old humans. And we specifically follow Micah Half-Wolf, who looks to be a regular human because if you do have godly powers, of course you're gonna have some animalistic feature to you that makes it apparent, but Micah does not. She looks completely normal, but she has a monster inside of her, and it's kind of a dangerous one. It's kind of something that could end the world or end her life. It doesn't really know which one's gonna happen first. And it's her kind of being thrust into this journey of figuring out how this monster got inside of her, how she's gonna get it out of her, how she's gonna deal with it, and also kind of becoming an unwilling hero. But she has this amazing little sidekick that I adore more than anything. I'm so excited to start a reread of these. I just know that I'm gonna fly through them. I think it's gonna be a good time. And I really want to buy the 4th one. This next one I feel like was a long time in coming, and honestly I don't know what got me in the mood for this, because this is kind of the one book that is neither spooky or horror-y on this list, and that's gonna be Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the epic finale to the Illuminae files. I read Illuminae files, the first book, so long ago, and last year I listened to Gemina on audio, which it was a really good experience, but I will say that Illuminae just hit different. And in Obsidio, we finally have our characters from Illuminae and Gemina meeting up, as well as meeting up with a couple of new characters. So this summary is gonna be as spoiler-free as I can make it, honestly, but basically in this finale, we're going back to where it all began, because our characters have survived a planet invasion, a spaceship mishap, a space station invasion, and now they're on the run and they're trying to figure out what to do, and they decide to go back to where it all began. I loved Illuminae when I read it through. I did actually follow along pretty well with Gemina in the audiobook, and the audiobooks, they're an experience, honestly. Like, they are so well done. But I think I want to read Obsidio physically, because I just feel like the way that this looks with case files, because it's basically like set in the future and this is the trial for everything that went down, it just looks so neat, and I think it gives it like another layer. So I'm excited to actually finally be in the mood to pick this up and to pick it up physically. You guys know I've been in this major physical reading slump, so to want to pick something up physically, is awesome and something I have to do. Next up is kind of like my first try in dark academia. I feel like dark academia has really popped off this year, and I have not read a single book with that. I believe. I might have, I don't know. But this is the first one on purpose, and that's gonna be A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. And I finally figured out how to pronounce this word. It's scholomance, not sholomance. Scholomance. A Deadly Education is following Elle as she kind of battles her way through school, because this scholomance for the gifted, for the magical, it's not about just like, you know, graduating and summer vacations and friends. It's about, you know, surviving. If you fail out, you're probably dead, actually. You didn't fail, you died. But Elle has a vast amount of really dark power at her fingertips. So she's not very worried about the monsters lurking in the hallways or even surviving school. What she is kind of worried about, though, is if she tries to use her deadly magic on the monsters and ends up killing all her classmates. You know, just teenage things. I'm excited. This is actually the Owl Crate exclusive edition. I love how it looks so much. I unboxed it actually in one of my Halloween vlogs. I feel like it's gonna be a really fun, kind of maybe... See, it's weird because when I read the summary, it made me think like, oh, this is gonna be some like good vibes, like Harry Potter vibes. I don't know. It's not really, because obviously, you know, there's deadly creatures and they're all just trying not to be killed by their studies. But somehow I got those vibes, and I'm just feeling like this is gonna be like a lighthearted read. I'm totally off the base, but I don't know. I'm not gonna argue with myself. This is another book that I've owned for a while and that I haven't wanted to pick up until right now, but I'm so hyped that I do want to pick it up. And that's Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. Seanan McGuire is probably one of my favorite authors. I have liked everything I've read by her, and I don't doubt that Middle Game will kind of lie in that realm. I know that it's been a pretty polarizing read ever since it came out, but I have high hopes. So Middle Game, it has to do with these two twins. One is named Roger, and he understands language. The world is stories to him, and that is how he views it. And then there's his twin, Dodger, and she sees the world mathematically. Everything and anything is math to her, and it's basically what she lives, breathes, and consumes. And they were made by an alchemist, and this alchemist's name is Reed, and he learned how to, you know, be an alchemist from his predecessor and decided to make these twins who, with the right push, can become gods. Because they're not human and they're not gods yet, but with the right push, Reed believes that he can make them into gods, and then he can have control over their power. And the tagline is, you better hope that it doesn't happen. I'm hyped. I feel like it's not going to be like a thriller in your face, fast-paced story. I really just don't expect that out of this. In general, I feel like more of the Seanan McGuire books that I've read have been kind of like about the characters, and I normally don't like character-rounded stories, character-centric stories. There's a word for this. Not plot-driven, character-driven. I feel like this is still going to be something that I really enjoy, and it's still gonna be spooky enough, I think. This one is definitely on the spooky side, 100% inspired by the fact that I still wish it were Halloween, and that's gonna be Horrid by Katrina Leno, and this is actually the copy that came in the Owl Crate box this last month in September. So I actually finally read the summary for this, and just to kind of give you a brief overview, we don't really know if this story is going to be a psychological thriller or if it's paranormal, because maybe our characters aren't very reliable. And this is because we're following Jane after her father has died, and her mother Ruth have got to go back to Ruth's hometown and her childhood home. It's a pretty big move, and Jane is trying to adjust, but she's not really the main concern. The main concern is really the mother and how she's unraveling with no real cause. And then we find out that maybe there's a storage closet that isn't so much of a storage closet, and that maybe, just maybe, this house wasn't as empty as they thought. This is what I mean when I say I honestly don't know if it's going to be a psychological thriller or if it's going to be paranormal, and I tend to like stories like that. I always hope that it ends up leaning more paranormal than psychological, which is funny because I love psychological thrillers, but if you're gonna run the line, just be paranormal. You know what I mean? I like psychological thrillers as long as you're not giving me the hint that it's like, oh, or maybe it's ghosts. Just give me a psychological thriller. I'll enjoy it. So I'm excited to see if I enjoy this. I mean, it's a good time. I feel like I've said that so many times in this video. I mean, I feel like this one was kind of an obvious one. I feel like everyone has been reading this, but I wasn't in the mood to read it in October. But November? Yes. And that's gonna be The Invisible Life of Addie Luru by V.E. Schwab. This is Schwab's newest book, and this is specifically the Book of the Month copy that I got in my haul last month, but I'm so excited to pick this up. I've heard mixed things though. I've heard very mixed things. Some people adore it, it's their favorite book. Other people say it's way too slow, but I know that V.E. Schwab specifically said that she's worked on this story for ages and she never felt that it was right until now. I feel like it's gonna be really cool. I'm not expecting a fast pace or a very insane plot, but I am expecting to be entertained. We're starting in 1714 France with Addie as she desperately tries to save her life by making a deal with the devil to live forever at the cost of every single person that ever sees her forgetting her the moment that she's out of their sight. And we follow her through different places, different countries, different times, different time periods, different everything, until we finally run into a person that remembers her. And this is gonna change everything. Now, what I do want to mention is I know that some people had been kind of saying that this was going to be a love trilogy. No. A love triangle, but from what I've heard, it's not like that at all. Like the deal with the devil part, they're not like in love or anything. I think that it's more of like a mutual relationship, friendship even, because he's the only person that remembers her through her life, and that I believe the guy that she meets that doesn't forget her is potentially a relationship. Either way, I'm excited because I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think that there really is like a necessary point to the story, but I think that it's going to be really cool just to see how Addie's life changed through the ages and what led her to make this deal, you know? Like how dire are your circumstances that you agree, first of all, to make a deal with the devil, and second of all, agree to be forgotten by every single person that's ever met you? Like, what does that have to... What's going on, you know? Was she running away from someone? Is that why it was such an easy deal to make? Who knows? Maybe we'll know after this month. And the last book on my list is one that I actually don't have yet, but I'm so excited. As you guys, if you watched my vlog from the last week of October, know, I finally read Uzumaki and I loved it. I loved it. We'll talk more on that on my wrap up, but I want to read more, so I am going to be reading Tomi by Junji Ito this month. I'm hyped. This one's plot sounds so intriguing. Uzumaki was kind of like out there and just far-fetched, but Tomi follows a very beautiful raven-haired, long-haired girl with a beauty mark that is just the finishing touch on a perfect face. At least that's what every single guy that ever sees her thinks. She's so beautiful, in fact, that she leads men to kill her. She leads men to kill her. But she doesn't die. Or she doesn't stay dead. I mean, that's all I know about it. And that's all you really need to know going into, I think, Junji Ito's books. Like, I don't even want to know anything going into his books, because even though that's the plot, I feel like this is going to be way windier. Like, if I'm comparing it to how Uzumaki was. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited that I, like, actually want to read physically again, you know? That's always a good thing. That's it. Those are going to be the books on my TBR for this month. There's quite a bit that I'm excited about, and I actually feel, like, in the mood to read these. I think that I just haven't been in a fantasy mood lately, and I think that's what's been confusing my reading, because I just maybe was in the mood to branch out and my mind wasn't ready for that. But please let me know what books you're reading for November, if you're also still kind of in a Halloween mood. I know that a lot of people are like getting into it for Christmas, but I'm not ready yet. I'm keeping up these decorations for a little longer at least. And that's gonna be it. I feel like these were really annoying and editing Brittany's probably gonna hate me for them, but we did it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have an amazing November reading month. I hope I do, because I mean, I haven't been this excited about a TBR in a while, so that's all good. And yeah, expect a wrap up and my bullet journal coming up for the month. Last month I tried to put it up before the month started and I really liked that, but then October was a little too jam-packed at the end to do the same. So my reading bullet journal is still coming. I know, I'm sorry it's so late. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh, actually, so if you did make it to the end of this video, leave a bad emoji, because isn't he cute? I'm just not ready for Halloween to be over. Okay, I guess like if you don't want to leave a bad emoji, if you're just done with Halloween, you can leave a rose. Preferably a black rose, but a red rose will do as well. So that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. I love y'all so much. I hope you're staying safe and I hope you're still living your best spooky life. Goodbye. I forgot my outro. And you know, it's volumes 1, 2, oh, I didn't show you. Volumes 1, 2, and 3. Wait, did I show it to you in the wrong? I did. Okay, I'm spoopy bat. Wait, let me start over. Boo boo. Boo boo boo. Oh my gosh, is that an Animal Crossing theme song? It totally is.
A beautiful creature.